Hello, how are you? I'm live on my page streaming into the Sacred Treasure House, and I'm just waiting to see if she has brought me up yet. I'm still 2 minutes early, so hi Lori, hi Yvonne. I'm just waiting for the girl before me to see if when she's done, then I'll start. Thank you for sharing me out there. I appreciate that. I'm setting up my palette right now. I have not been on in the Sacred Treasure House for a few months. I seen she had a lineup poll, and thank you very much, Yvonne. I seen she had a poll, so I signed up for this. It's National Bee Day today. So our theme today is about bees, and it is with the Sacred Treasure House, and the group is in the link. If you are not a member of the Sacred Treasure House, please take a moment to like and follow that link, and then you can see all the bee creations in one day. I am going to be doing a journal cover, so I'll put you down in just a minute here. It's just 12 now, and I am not in the group quite yet, so I don't want to start. Hi Roxana, how are you? Okay, she is done, so let's see where I'm at. I might have to go out and come back in. Up after me is Deb Eubanks from Sacred Soul. Okay, now I lost the group. Let me try. There it is. Okay, and we are in the group. I'm turning on my second device so that I can see comments. And you know, my vision is a little blurry today. I don't know why, but he said it would change as my eyes healed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the camera down just a little bit. And I painted this with it's a folk art chalk paint. I painted the background with it. And, you know, I put it in a squirt bottle, but I think it's like Vivid Violet or something. Michael's had a bunch of folk art chalk paint on sale for $3. So I bought a bunch of them, and I stirred them up, and I put them in some squirt bottles so I could easily have access to them. Okay, so this is a cover, and it's wood, of a journal. This is I took the cover off the journal. The back is wood also, and it has thicker pages in it, so you could probably do some painting. It has 80 pages in it. You could probably do some painting in there, or you could decorate it up to your liking. So I traced a bee on here with tracing paper and white graphite paper. I put some little lines here just so I could do I'm going to do a plaid in the background. So this is the Vivid Purple, and I did Deco Art Gentle Heather. And I'm going to try and do a plaid, and I'm going to try and keep it straight. I don't know how well I'm going to do with it because it's a bigger area, but we're just going to, I want it to be light and see-through. I'm not going to make it, and see how the paint ran out. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to change that at all. Yeah, I'm kind of the plaiting. I'm not real good at keeping my lines straight, but we're just going to go with it because there's going to be other things on here. And okay, I got to go like this because I got my lines here. Plaids are hard for me, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to try. I got a little drop of water. You got to have your paint washy. So, and why this is, I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'm going to go down. I'm going to check comments and say hi to people. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Barb. How are you? And Yvonne and Tina. Hi, Tina. I talked to Yvonne a little earlier. She was the first one on. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for coming in, everyone. I'm going to hit this with the heat dryer a little bit, and I got the ends where the water pooled. I'm just going to leave that, but I'm going to touch my brush the next time on my paper towel so that it doesn't do that. So it is dry. You got to dry in between. Otherwise, you'll lift up your lines. And I'm going to try and keep it as straight as I can. And I might have to go over it again, coming crossways. I was going to warm up my hand before I painted. I haven't done anything with my hands yet this morning, and I didn't. It's best if you keep your hand down on something and pull it along, but I'm not going to fret too much about it because it'll just take up too much of my time, and I want to get that bee painted for you because the event today is all about bees. Okay, so that's my plaid. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to try and fix anything or anything. I'm just going to leave it like that. There's going to be stuff over it, so we won't be seeing that much of it. So I'm going to dry this, and I can still see the little bee that I drew on here. I'll show you it up close. It was inspired by a photo I saw on Pinterest, but that's what the line drawing looks like on there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the inside of the bee all yellow. I'll put the black stripes on it after I get to a certain point. Hi, Ray. How are you? Hi, Vicki. Welcome in. And I'm just using a round brush. Well, it's a stroke brush. That's what it's listed as that I bought. I like the stroke brushes because they get flat on the end. And it is a King Art They used to be a different brand. Lowell Cornell, they used to be. And they're pretty close, at least in this type of brush. They're pretty close to what I had. The quality is about the same. And this may need 2 coats because of the darkness of the background. And it's dry in here. I had to turn my heat back on, ladies, because it's been so dry in the house, or so cold. And once the heat came back on, everything dried out in the house. So I have lots of water I got to use again. When I turned the air on, everything, I had too much water. It went from 90 to 40 and rain. So we are not having great weather here in Minnesota. I think the 90-degree days we had were just kind of a fluke, because they didn't last long. I mean, we've had a good spring. It's been in the 60s and 70s, and then it went up to 90. And it was 90 for 3 days, and now we're back to reality. But when it's the first day, it was in the 80s, and it was hot in the house. And I finally told my husband, I want to turn on the air. I waited a couple days, and he went out and uncovered it, because we put a cover on it. He uncovered it, and he made sure that sometimes the fan will get frozen up. That happened to us in the past, the fan inside the unit. And he made sure that the fan was free, you know, would move around and stuff. And then he said, go ahead, try it. And I turned it on, and it worked just fine. So I have some wording that I cut out also to Mod Podge on here that I think will be good. And it's just going to be a happy journal. I don't do much journaling, but I know there is a lot of people that like journals and are doing journals. So something's on there. Not sure what it is, but we'll cover it up with that color paint after I get off here. And maybe I'll stencil a few little honeycombs on there to add more interest to the background, because I didn't do that great of a job on the platting, but it is what it is. You know, none of us are perfect. And I think we have an hour today, so that is a good thing, because when we just have the 45 minutes, it goes fast. Well, sometimes the hour goes fast too, but... And you could use a flat brush to paint this also. I'm using a round because I have more control over it, and I don't want to go so slow. But the first coat doesn't look that great. The second coat will look better. It's because of the dark background that we have behind it. And this wing is shorter and closer to his face because his head's turned. So that's why that looks like that. And once again, this is a National Bee Day celebration event. and it's with Sacred Treasure House. And up after me is Deb Eubanks from Sacred Sew. And everyone is celebrating bees, and you can put some butterflies in there too. It was called a bee and butterfly event. I probably, well, maybe I got a butterfly that I could paint and put on here. I might have some little tiny wood butterflies. I'll have to look, and then we can make it dimensional. I did not think of the butterflies at all. So I'm going to hit this with the heat tool, and then I'm going to do a second coat. I got the industrial heat tool, so I'm going to let that cool down a minute. And I'm going to use Payne's Gray while that is cooling down. And I'm just going to shade around here real quick. I'm just going to shade around the outline of this. It is pouring rain here. I can hear it hitting the trees outside my window. I opened my window just so I could keep an eye on the weather. I had been babysitting my granddaughter's dog for 2 weeks, and I was excited that she came home yesterday and was picking up the dog. But then I kind of missed him this morning. I didn't have to feed him and let him out, and I was kind of lost. But I'm sure I'll recover. So it was a little different to have a dog in the house again. We lost our little dog in November, and this was a big dog, so it was quite the change for us. I've never had a big dog, and actually I'm kind of scared of big dogs. I don't know why, but I just am. It's just who I am. So okay, so we're just going to leave that like that. And I'll show you what that looks like up close. So that's what that looks like around there. And I'm going to put another coat on to the bee's body. But you know what? I'm going to get a bigger brush because that one was kind of wimpy. It was fine for the wings, but for the bee itself, it was kind of wimpy. So, and we can get it on quicker. The second coat doesn't have to be so I don't have to watch the line so much. And I did that with banana cream. That's the color I used on that. My paint is getting so thick lately. I don't know if it's getting old, or if it's just the texture of the paint right now. So I'm just going around his eyes. Those are his eyes there. And I didn't want to paint over them. That's why I transferred them in. I didn't want to have to A few of my brushes have a wild hair coming out of them. I don't know what's causing that. Oops. There we go. I covered the bottom of the eye. We'll get that when we do the white on the eye. I'll fix that. Got a little bit too much water in there. Okay. We'll do this. And I'm kind of keeping the shape of the, I'm doing my strokes on the shape of the wings so I know where to shade and stuff. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. That's nice. Our friend Yvonne is going to have a knee replacement on Thursday. So if everyone could keep Yvonne in their prayers that her surgery is successful and her recovery goes fast, that would be much appreciated. She is the owner of the Crafty Gammy. So, okay. Oops, I got to do the eyes. Let's do the eyes real quick. One more time, and I got to get this where I covered it with yellow. And when you use a bigger brush to do your base coating, it goes in nicer. This is a second coat, but it does go in a little smoother and stuff. I just want to make sure I got the wings. I'm using regular white, so it's taken a little bit more because of this dark background. You can base coat with a, like a gray or something, and the white will cover better on a dark background. If you paint on black backgrounds and stuff, and then put your coat over it. I'm going to hit this again with the dryer, and I am going to have to do, I think I might have to do one more coat of the yellow. Let's see what time we got, 21. We'll see if we can get by without it, because I'm going to put a brighter yellow over it. We'll see what that looks like. I want to bring them up to the same color as this bee is, so, or the background. I want to bring them brighter. So it's just like a little wash of, I took out saffron yellow. I usually use cadmium yellow, but this is close to the same color, and it was just sitting on my table. So I thought, I'll try that and see if I like that color, and we'll do a new color today. So try it out. I've had this color. This color is, the transparency of it is there. I mean, it would be a good shading color or highlighting because of the transparency of it. So he's a little brighter. So I'm going to take my shading brush. I have got hair all over my table. For some reason, I'm losing a lot of hair the last few days here. I don't know why. I'm doing my I'm doing my spring shed. And I'm going to do zinc. I think Payne's Gray might work, but it might be too dark for his wings. Zinc is a gray, and it's a little lighter. So I'm going to just put paint on the tip of my paintbrush and work it out. And it's got water in it. And I'm going to shade the lines in. Shade here. And then I want to bring the shading up a little bit into the wings a little bit more. So I'm just kind of like walking it out to the original shade line. It's a little area. I got a big brush. And I am going to shade a little bit under here where these two wings are touching. You got to take some of that paint off. It's a strong color to go over the white. But I'm going to let it dry, and then I might have to come back in and fix it up a little bit. But that's the start of the shading. And I'm going to go around his head on this one. I probably have too big of a brush for this, but it's okay. We're just going to keep working at it. Oh. And I know I had too much water in my brush there. I'm not real happy with this paint. I'm struggling with it today. Some days are just like that. Some days are harder than other days. But we're just going to keep going because I'm not going to sit and try and fix it. Let me dry that, and then I'm going to come in and go one more time on there and try and even it out a little bit. Is everybody enjoying their weather? Are you having nice weather, or is it rainy? I know there are so many storms around. Oh, thank you for welcoming people in. I'm not real good at reading comments while I'm painting. I'm so focused on the painting that oh, you know what I did? I went into, that's why it got so different. I went into the Payne's Gray instead of the zinc. So I got to go back to Payne's Gray here. And just, the Payne's Gray's got kind of a bluish tinge to it, it looks like to me. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. We'll get some line work on here and we'll fix those up real nice. And I want to do this on the eyes. And I want to just come in with some white real quick and go like that to whiten them up again. And I think I'm going to do that on the wings to clean up some of my mess. I struggled with that gray paint. So we're going to fix it up a little bit. Okay. After I'm done with this, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to put in the arms and legs. I'm going to move this. I dripped some drips on there. I want to get a new paper towel. And I can show you what it looks like. I know the camera's kind of far away from it, but that's what that looks like so far. Okay. So I'm going to take a round brush. The brush that I'm looking for is maybe in here. I have a round brush that is not a liner brush, and it works really well. Sometimes my brushes get put in and they disappear because I have so many. I try and keep like round together and flats together, but it isn't always possible. I get them mixed up. But we'll try this one. And this arm comes from here. And then goes here. And he's got a little hand there. And this one comes out of his neck because of the way he's positioned. And comes up here. And then this one's got to have a pincher too, but I did not draw that on there. I just drew a couple of lines, so that's how we'll make that hand. And then he's got legs. I was reading somebody's post today, and it was all the different things about bees. And one of the things she wrote on there was that bees have no knees. I thought that was funny. I started laughing about that. Bees have no knees. And I got a little picture over here I'm looking at, so see where the pupils were. Okay. And I want that to dry. Because we don't want the black getting smeared. this little chalk pencil that I'm going to use. And it's got white chalk in it. I hope I can see. And I'm going to do that black for a stripe. Then a stripe here. Okay, black, black. Then we'll do the bottom of them black. Okay, they're not perfectly this right width apart and stuff, but we're just guessing here on the, I did have them drawn on there perfectly, but we lost that when we did our base coating. So this is good though, this will work. This wood's a little rough. I did sand it, but it is a little rough. When you paint, sometimes it raises the grain on it again. So that's what happened here, is the grain raised a little bit. And I suppose I should have a bigger brush to do this, but when I'm working with a smaller brush, I can control what I'm doing better. And we're in a time zone, so... Oh, did you see that? Has anyone watching news this morning? All the tornadoes and stuff that happened down in Kentucky. I mean, lots of people lost their lives, it said. The tornadoes and stuff are so bad this year. We're going to leave him as a B. We're not going to give him a stinger. We're going to leave him. And let's see. We got an antenna here. And there. Okay. He's got long antennas. And we'll do this little circle here. I'm going to smooth that out some. A circle there. Okay, and I'm going to dry him so that we can shade him, put some cheeks on him, give him a little brown. I'm going to put some veins in the wings. And then I had these words, and just in case I don't get to them, I'm going to lay them on here so you can see. I'm going to decoupage. You can never have too much happy. I'm going to put those on there. But I want to put them on here, and I'm going to decoupage them on. So that's what that'll look like. But I do have to do the other work on him. I just printed these off and cut them out. They were on a different paper, and I cut them out. I like the saying, and I thought it added something to this too. So let's try his mouth real quick. Before I do his mouth, I want to do his cheeks because we want cheeks on him. What is this? Not royal fuchsia. We do not want that color. That is way too bright. I like pink, and I like, I do like wild berry. Wild berry is a good color. I'm going to put it on here because I'm working off a wet palette and I don't want any water in here because I'm going to dry brush them on. So this is a dry brush. It's kind of like a stencil brush. This one is a little bit softer of a bristle. And I put paint in it. Then I'm taking most of the paint off. Okay. And I'm going to go here. Yeah, you can see how rough the wood is. And my strokes were not very even either. But we'll do the cheeks here. And the journals come in a smaller size too. I have some smaller ones that I painted too. I'm trying to get all the journals done, and then I'm going to try selling them. But I usually shade the bees with a brown color. I'm going to try this burnt orange. I mean, it's a new shading color for me, but we're going to see how that looks. We're going to brighten them up just a little bit instead of the brown, because the brown kind of, there's a hair there. I gotta wait till that dries before I pick it out. My cat, I had to lock him in the room for 2 weeks so he didn't have any run-ins with this dog. And because the dog did not like the cat. And the cat would taunt the dog to chase him and stuff because he was used to our dog and they used to chase each other and they'd have fun. You know, our dog was smaller than the cat, but this was a big dog. So I locked him in the room. Well, since I would let him out at night to come in here while I painted and stuff. And he kept coming on my table and he would walk by all my brushes, and it's like the brushes would pull his hair out and stick right on my brushes. So I'm having trouble with some cat hair, and I've never had that before. So now the hair disappeared, so I'm sure it'll show up when I varnish. I just want to put a little bit white on there where I went out of my shading. Okay, so let's take another dry brush. I want to dry brush my white on there, my highlight. I'll use this one. Well, I want to use a bigger one. And I'm just going to dry this real quick. And I'm just going to use white. And then this is a different kind of dry brush. This is a stiffer brush. And it doesn't matter what kind of dry brush you use. I mean, they all kind of work the same. I'm just going to dry brush a little white here. Right down his center. I'm going to dry brush here a little more. And here. I just want to lighten up his wings a little bit. I'm just putting a little dry brushing around him. I'm going to shade around him too. I won't have time to do that online today. Get that put aside. I got these brushes rolling around in paint. Get that down. I'm going to put his mouth in now. And I'm going to put his mouth in and his wings veining. Okay. He's got a big mouth. He'd fit right in here. We all have big mouths in this house. On the holidays, everyone tries to talk louder than each other at times and gets to be a lot. Okay. So that's his mouth. And then I forgot about his wings. And I have water on the ferrule of my brush, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to do it simple. Not enough. Too much water, not enough water. Okay, that's that. We'll put some down here. And then we'll do this one. Still comes up from the middle, not as much veining. Up here. Okay, I want to try this. I don't know how it's going to work, but just a little bit of lines on the outside of his wings. They're not perfect, they're not solid. They're just, it just adds something, it finishes them a little bit better. I don't like that when my arm starts sticking to my paper towel. Let me check the time. 47. I still got a little bit of time here. I might be able to start that decoupaging. And I do want to take a little bit of white and I'm just going to put highlights like this on so you can see the highlights. And I do see that I've got a few hairs in my paint, but when it's totally dry, I can get those. They're just sitting on top. I'm going to have to rinse out all my brushes, I think, from this cat. And then we'll do, it's just a little highlight, just, it's not much. And it's just sometimes easier to do it with your brush than to try and float it on. Okay. So we'll go like that. And I'm going to have to put some kind of ground underneath him. And then I'll get the Mod Podge out and try highlighting him a little bit here. And I got one more thing to do to his Oop, I got stuck in some dark green there too. But that's okay. I mean, it's just so he's not floating. Okay. And I want to do this. I want to give him a little highlight in his eye. And I want to give him a little highlight on his cheek. I like that. So here's how he looks so far. And we're going to put the words on now. I think I might be able to get some words on him. Get rid of that. He's bright. He's a bright one, but bees are happy. I always think of bright colors as being happy. And I don't know how this, if it's going to smear. I just put it out on my printer. So I'm going to do, I got Mod Podge Matte. And I put it in the squirt bottle because it's so much nicer than, you know, I buy the big Mod Podge. So it's just so much nicer to put it on like this. And I'm going to put it on the back of the paper. And you and I'm not real worried about it all being lined up. It's whimsical. You can never, because for sure it's not cut perfectly even, have too much. Look at that. I got lots of time left. Happy. And it just kind of makes it a, let's see how this, pretty good. If I put it on lightly and then let that dry and then coat over it. Okay, here, I'm going to put you up like this because, oops, you can see it better like this. Oh, and it's backwards, but it's, you can never have too much happy. And then it will be on this here. This goes, they just fit right in here and it stays on. So, and I did paint the, I'm setting that over there so the pages don't get wrinkled or dirty or anything. And I did paint the back of this. I will have to varnish that. But there you go. You can never have too much happy. That's what bees mean to me. Hi, Shelly. How are you? Thank you for rating my video with a 5-star. Yvonne, I appreciate that. I have, as long as I have a few minutes left, I don't have enough time to start another craft, really. I'm surprised I got this done. So I'm glad that I got it done. I like, bees are pretty easy for me to paint. I do paint a lot of bees, but I want to show you some patterns I created just to show you. I did this. I finished this one last night. I've been working on this one for about a week. But it's a little ladybug in a car. And I am going to write a pattern and let people paint this too that want to. And then I did this one here. And it's a snowman in a mitten car. And it says Woolly Mitten Company. And I have 3 of them that I'm going to do patterns on of a car series. I have this one that I'm going to, and it's probably a good thing I'm getting them out and all together. And I did this one here. So it's a little bee in a honeycomb car. So I've been working hard on that, trying to get some patterns going here and teaching some people, thank you, Shelley, teaching some people how to paint and stuff so that they can learn. But once again, I wanted to tell you, this is an event in the Sacred Treasure House. It was a bee and butterfly event. I want to thank the girls for letting me be a part of their event today. It was fun for me. If you're not a member of the Sacred Treasure House, it is a private group. And all you have to do is come into the group and follow the group, and you'll see all the crafters in one place. Just refresh your page and you can see the next one. She might ask you a couple of questions, and it's just for all of our safety. And up after me is Deb Eubanks, and with Sacred Sew. And I believe the event goes all the way up till 8 or 9 tonight. I did not print out the list, but I think it goes all the way till 8 or 9 tonight. And if you are not following my page, could you please like and follow my page? And you'll see all that's on there is things that I've painted and stuff and what I'm doing. I don't really bug anybody or anything like that. And I would like to wish Shelley a happy birthday today. It's Shelley's birthday today from, Shelley, I don't know the name of your page. If you want to drop that in there. Shelley Presents on here too. So, but it is Shelley's birthday today. So happy birthday, Shelley. And if you would like to just refresh your page for the next crafter, Deb, she will be right on in about 3 minutes. Does anybody have any questions or anything? This is the cover to a journal book, and I did paint this today for those that are just joining. Oh, thank you, Vicki. Thank you for following me. I appreciate that. And also there's a thing on there if you'd like to try and follow me on YouTube. I need like 12 more people, and I can stream my lives into there. You're welcome, Shelley. There's Shelley there. It's Shelley's birthday today. Everyone wish Shelley a happy birthday. But thank you for joining me. I'm going to get off a few minutes early. I got 2 minutes left. That way we can get Deb into the group, and you can all go to the bathroom real quick or get something to drink real quick so you can enjoy Deb while she whips up something with bees and butterflies today. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you, Tanya. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye. It's Colleen Tepper with a couple of tra-la-las.